From mountain peaks to kitchen taps, Arvada water takes quite a journey with important stops along the way. So it's always here when you need it. And when you're finished with it, there's a system that takes care of that too. I'm Arvada Mayor Mark Williams here at the Wastewater Plant. The team here has a big job to do. And the person in charge is Steve Wyatt. Steve, thanks for having us out today.
Absolutely.
How many miles of pipe do we have here in the city of Arvada?
Currently, we've got about 475 miles.
Some of that pipe is older and is clay, right?
It is.
Now I know that with clay pipe, there can be problems. What are those problems?
The condition of the clay pipe will deteriorate faster than PVC pipe will. It's subject to cracking, and therefore it can break. Root intrusion, you find a lot more of that in the older clay pipe. The roots will find their way into a joint or into a crack in the pipe, and eventually that will erode and at some point completely decay and collapse that pipe.
So what do you do to make sure that clay pipe has a good useful life and we don't have to dig it out?
Well, I think one of the greatest investments that we've made over all these years, this originated probably about 14 or 15, 16 years ago. There's a process called CIPP, and what it stands for is cured in place pipe. And it's a lining process where we can use the original old clay pipe, and we have a contractor pull a liner through that from one manhole to another. And when that liner is cured, it adheres to the inside of the old clay pipe and reestablishes strength and integrity in that pipe. So when we do CIPP lining in a section of older clay, we're able to add a 50-year life expectancy to that particular section of pipe.
That's great.
Yeah, the technology is pretty amazing.
What's the biggest problem you've been facing recently?
I would say certainly over the last 5 or 6 years, the biggest battle that we've been finding in the sanitary system has been rags. And when I mean rags, what we're talking about are items like baby wipes or cleaning wipes. These items do not biodegrade the way toilet paper does. We've had backups in our mains that were entirely attributed to rag buildup in the sewer lines. They get sucked up into the pumps and they clog our impellers. And we've got a lift station at about 90th and Alkire right now. It's a primary critical lift station. And they're clogging impellers to the point to where those pumps have to be pulled and cleared on average about 3 or 4 times a week right now.
Wow.
Because of that problem. So if it isn't toilet paper, make sure it goes in the trash, not down the toilet.
Yeah, and that can cause problems with their service lines as well,
It
correct?
certainly can. It absolutely can.
Have you come up with a way further down the system to deal with these wipes that come into the system?
There's a new technology that we just found out about here just recently. It's called the Derager Unit. It'll send a signal to that pump to slow down and then reverse, and in that reversing process it will free itself of the rags and clear them. And this whole process only takes 30 to 45 seconds. The pump will then again turn back on the normal way and be back in business again. We're going to use it on one, give it a month or two, and find out whether or not this thing works as well as we hope it does. And if we're very impressed with the 1 or 2 month trial, we'll move forward with installing those on the other 2 pumps at Alkire as well.
One of the realities that we also face is that stormwater can infiltrate into our sewer system, correct?
It certainly can. We refer to that as I&I, which stands for inflow and infiltration. Anytime we have any major rains, it's a bigger concern because the ground is then saturated and we're likely to be taking on a little bit more I&I. It takes up capacity in our sewers, so we want to minimize it as much as possible. Secondly, all of our sanitary sewer generated in the city of Arvada goes to what used to be Denver Metro, now it's Denver Water Recovery. And it's metered, and we pay them to treat that sanitary sewer. So the more groundwater we have leaking into our system, the more groundwater we're paying to have treated that doesn't need to be treated. If the city's asking for, let's say, a 2.5% sewer rate increase from our taxpayers, the 2.5%, about 80% of that, Mark, is driven by increases to us from Denver Water Recovery.
Right.
Very little of it is obtained for the benefit and the use of the city of Arvada. It's a necessary rate increase just to cover the increases that are being passed on to us from Denver Water Recovery.
Right. Now, I know we're a couple good-looking guys, but you've got a beautiful piece of equipment behind us here.
Do.
What is this?
This is one of our 2 jet Vac combination trucks, and this is used for cleaning sanitary sewer and storm lines. We're very, very proactive in our maintenance philosophies as far as the sanitary and storm sewers. These trucks are out, weather permitting, every single day cleaning somewhere in our system, critically important.
What's one of these babies cost?
Well, I'm kind of glad you asked that. One of these is up for replacement, and we're estimating that cost of that replacement to fall somewhere between $440,000 and $470,000 a piece. These pieces of equipment are not only the backbone of our success, they are what I believe are likely the most expensive pieces of equipment in the entire city of Arvada. But yeah.
Now, the other piece of equipment that you use quite a bit is the closed circuit TV system.
We do.
Let's talk about that.
What they allow us to do is put a camera on a transporter. The technology is really pretty fascinating, and we can run that thing all the way up the sewer line, so we've got eyes in the pipe. We're proactive in that as well, because if we find problems that are beginning, or maybe they're little problems now, we can be aware of that and we can address that and make sure that we get it taken care of before they become bigger problems. We want to know about a problem before it's causing a homeowner problem, and we want to be able to address that before the homeowner knows anything about it.
That's great. I'm glad we've got these systems to make sure that we keep what needs to go in, get out of the city of Arvada, be properly treated, and then go back into, where does it go, South Platte?
South Platte River.
Steve, thank you so much for your 35 years of service to the city and for running such a great department.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.